It's already lies, lies, lies. Nolan, I'm so sorry. Why you scrub your social media? Why? Oh, it's already lies, lies, lies. Just tell us what really happened to Nolan. How did he get in that water? Oh, Mississippi, stand up right now. Why the hell they so silent? If you know you didn't do it, and if you can prove it, just say it out loud. Oh, 18 years young, football dreams in his hands. Out on Horn Island with the so-called friends. Boat trip for the 4th, celebrating life. But he never made it back, left in the night. Mama posted, calling for help on the net today. Searching, heart full of pain, now the body found. But the story don't add up, phone left behind, strong swimmer. What the fuck, something just not right. The silence deafening, scrubbing timelines, deleting, no confessing. Nolan Wells, copper spirit shining bright. Most High knows the truth in the pale moonlight. Family grieving, but they standing tall. Been crump on the case, demanding justice for y'all. Why you scrub your social media? Why? Oh, it's already lies. Just tell us what really happened to Nolan. How did he get in that water? Oh, Mississippi, stand up right now. Why the hell they so silent? If you know you didn't do it, and if you can prove it, just say it out loud. Oh, Nolan's Wells family, please excuse me. I know you're grieving, but good God, this don't make sense to me. Baby in the water, how he end up there alone. Friends came back without him, stories changing on the phone. Independent autopsy coming, truth gon' rise. Toxicology, deleted messages, no more lies. Mississippi Delta ancestors watching close. We walk together, can't let another young king ghost. Them folks ain't kinfolk, hold yourself accountable. If it's foul play, speak now, make it audible. Peace be still in the storm, but justice first for Nolan. For the family, excuse my burst. Oh, Nolan, I'm so sorry. Your light still shines. My God bless you, may he protect you. Justice for your son, your baby. Something just not right. Oh, Mississippi, stand up right now. The Most High sees it all, no hiding in the dark. Hell no, we demanding answers while you scrub your social media. Oh, it's already lies. Just tell us what really happened to Nolan. How did he get in that water? Oh, Mississippi, stand up right now. Why the hell they so silent? If you know you didn't do it, and if you can prove it, just say it out loud. Oh, Nolan, I'm so sorry. Justice for Nolan. We all we got, ancestors never left. Mississippi, stand up. Ooh, peace be still. Truth first, Nolan Wells, the story ain't over. Justice for Nolan.
All right. Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning back in once again to the original Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur show. I'm your host, Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur, and this is your Sunday Vitamin. So as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. All right. Give a shout out to our guest on the panel. We have the lounge. Okay, we have Obasi and we have Royal Oak Media Entertainments. Okay, so let's get ready to get it popping. All right, D Major says happy Sunday. Miss Lindsay is out of here. Not Miss Lindsay, honey. You know you are wrong for that. Yes, he is. And Mitch McConnell's out of here too. I don't know why they're lying, okay? I think he's gone. All right. So thank you for that, beloved. And thank you for your contribution. I appreciate you. Peace, love, and blessings. Okay, let's see who's in here. D Major, of course, Greta, Gregory, Desmond is here. Cowboy. All right. G from the land, Nessa G, Lynn. Okay, Dangerous. I see you, Danielle, Marie. All right. Let's get it popping. Dario, I see you. Who is this in here with? Oh, okay. I was about to say, who is in here with my name in the chat? I forgot I gave y'all a message. Okay, Jerron is here, Chris B. Okay, Turkey is in it, Dale. Let's get into it. Hey, the Baba of Truth, Elder, blessings, peace, love, and blessings, beloved. Okay, Truth Brown. Shout out to Truth Brown. That was her song. Okay, and just so you all know, the songs that I played last night that y'all love, that was Royal Oaks Entertainment. Okay, and I'm going to be playing his music on the next live as well at 6:30. Okay, hey, Deronda. Alice is here. Okay, Nick Knight. Okay, shout out to all my loyal roads, everyone tuned into the Queen, and a big shout out to my moderators because y'all know they be putting in work. So before we get started, let's get some fire emojis in the chat and let's have a brief word from my sponsor at 12 Tribes. Here we go.
Do not buy 12 Tribes on Earth hair growth oil and hair magic elixir unless you want super healthy, gorgeous hair that grows. They have a whole line of amazing hair growth products, including hair growth leave-in conditioner spray, hair growth shampoo, hair growth spray, and hair growth butter. I'm starting to sense a theme here. They include quality natural ingredients. They smell amazing, and you can see the results for yourself. So if you're looking for healthy hair growth for your natural or relaxed hair, try 12 Tribes on Earth today.
All right, so don't forget you can purchase 12 Tribes hair oils at Etsy.com. Just look for Lisa Crafts. You can also find her products at Walmart.com. Okay, and don't forget that she sells beard oil as well. All right, so let's get ready to get into it. So listen, you all, I don't know if you all heard, but did you all hear about, they said Ben Crump was caught telling Nolan's mom to cry. Did y'all hear that?
I didn't hear that.
You didn't hear. I saw this white guy did a video. I don't know if he was telling the truth or not, but listen, I don't like when they have any room to say anything negative because of course that's what they're going to take it and run with it. So he was doing a video talking about, oh yeah, why do you need your lawyer to tell you to cry and all this stuff? And then I saw the comments, the other people like him were saying, oh, the whole story's fake. These people need to sit down somewhere, but hold on. What's fake is their outrage because I got the receipts.
Mm.
Let me pull this up real quick. Okay, so now first let's talk about some of these postings that have been up. Look at this. Now this was from a man by the name of Dustin Matthews. Says, did y'all happen to see the hanging of Wells of the Wells kid out here? Now, this is the man. I put his picture on here so y'all can see who he is, Dustin Matthews. And he thought it was funny. As you can see, he has laughing emojis. I took the liberty of covering up his children's faces because why should they be ashamed? Okay, but that's what he said. Did y'all see the hanging of the Wells kid out here? And then someone asked his wife, they said, did you read what your husband posted? Your husband literally stated and or suggested that Nolan Wells was lynched on Horn Island, and wanted to know if the user who made the Facebook post was in attendance to witness it. Are you effing serious right now? So then the wife goes on to say, she said, nope, he was being sarcastic, as in that doesn't happen anymore because people don't see color like that. People are people. The past is the past. Now, you know what? That's ignorant within itself. What is she talking about? The past is the past. We all know that they've just found Black people swinging from trees not too long ago. Okay, I'm talking about weeks ago. So that's crazy. But hold on, here's another one. Now, this one is supposedly from one of Nolan's friends, somebody named Ike Pyron. It says, I see you reported this, so I just want to let you know what really happened. Can't be listening to all these black people saying his friends did something. He was my brother. He was with my brother that day on my boat, and he chose to stay. They know who the girl is. It happens at Horn all of the time. These guys posting this ish on TikTok are all worthless blacks who want nothing but views. Nolan has basically lived at my house for the last 3 years. We would never do anything to harm him. Sure, you wouldn't. You just called us worthless blacks. Okay, so I already know how you feel about Nolan in real life. Please, what do y'all have to say about any of it?
Yeah, that's crazy. That's really, really crazy that he would even say something like that. And for me personally, I think that, with him being the only black, it was already a little sketchy.
Mm-hmm.
But when he just what you just said, he said about blacks, and then he said that he lived with him for 3 years. But yeah, why are you saying, blacks? And it's always nowadays when it comes to these situations, oh, the blacks are trying to get views, or they're trying to get paid. It's like they're pocket
Right.
watching us. And it's like, y'all are doing the same thing. Y'all reporting, you're getting monetized or whatever. So what makes you any different from me? So it's kind of crazy in that aspect.
That's just them projecting. What do you have to say about that, Royal Beloved?
Um, it sounds a lot like the things that were being said in the 40s, the 50s, and the 60s, when people
Mm-hmm.
were trying to blame black people for what it is that was happening to black people. For number one. For number two, it's dismissive. It's dismissive of all of the things that we have dealt with, and the rightful feeling of suspicion. We have a right to be
Mm-hmm.
suspicious anytime there are no answers. And we could bring up so many different cases in so many different instances. So um, I think that this is like a child who continues to do things that they're not punished for. And I don't think that there's been enough punishment for people. And that's why they're so bold in saying these types of things.
Mhm.
And that's a really good way to put it too. Because when a child isn't punished when they're doing bad things, they just keep getting worse and worse and worse. Okay,
Mhm.
it just keep getting worse and worse, and that's what they have absolutely done. What do you have to say, Obasi, beloved?
It's always.
Obasi,
Can you hear
oh,
me?
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Yes, I can. Go ahead.
I'm all favorite words. This is what they do all the time. Narrative control, right? So, and it
Mm-hmm.
also shows to their level of humaneness, and this is why I tell them that y'all don't have souls, because to have soul, that means you feel a level of compassion, you feel a level of sadness, sorrow, and for him to say, his wife to dismiss it, like the brother just said, and say, "Oh, he's being sarcastic." Is this a time to be sarcastic?
When someone's child is dead,
Yeah,
Mhm.
and to joke with laughing emojis and to dismiss and say, "Oh, that's not happening anymore," and it just tells you about their mental state.
mm-hmm. I have to agree. And I'm just really getting so sick of it at the end of the day. And here's the thing. They had all of that, to say about Carmelo. But then when we're critiquing these kids, they're trying to make all these excuses. Now,
Yeah,
like the
Mhm.
guy that was on the panel the other night, Royal, when 'cause I was talking about that yesterday. So when Green Hornet, when he kept talking about it was probably some older drunk person on the beach, or some older drunk person that was, first of all, where are you getting this from? He had no validity to it. It was no circumstances or evidence that would lead him to draw that conclusion. He literally just made it up out of thin air. And not only him, I've seen many of them doing that throughout different comments on different social media platforms, and even saying that it's a psyop, that this isn't even real. Like, who would make this up? So they didn't really find Nolan's body in the water, or if they did, was it planted there by us to carry out some type of narrative or agenda? Like, they sound so ridiculous. Sounds so ridiculous. But hold on, I want to go to this clip because the Hebrew Israelites were down there protesting.
Howdy, 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 hey. Howdy, 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 hey. God's kingdom's on the way. God's kingdom's on the way. Hallelujah. 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 Hey, hey, Northern Wales. Hey, hey, Northern Wales. Hey, hey, Nolan Wells. Hey, hey, Nolan Wells.
And, you know, I'm going to tell you all something too. What I think is another thing is they don't want the truth to come out. We already know that. I'm sure they think just as much as we do that they did it. They know just as well as we do. Okay, in my opinion, and they just don't want the truth to come out. And they know the fact that Ben Crump is on the case. Okay, and he's paying to have the second autopsy report done. Tyler Perry, Colin Kaepernick have reached out. And then I think they said something about Spike Lee or whatever. But I think that's the issue with it. I think they really are so upset that the truth's going to come out. It's just like the reason they're still mad about Carmelo. Carmelo has been convicted, got a lengthy sentence, and they're still out here mad and talking crazy. And then talk about justice for Austin. Didn't Austin already get justice?
Mhm.
Okay, Just Think said Ben Crump just posted in his IG 30 minutes ago saying there's video and photos from July 5th showing Nolan Wells alive. They found his body the 6th. What? Thank you for that, beloved. But hold on, I'm gonna go to these videos real quick that I have that I just saw. They came out like 2 hours ago, and then I'm gonna look for that. Okay. Thank you for your insight into the topic and your contribution to the channel. I appreciate you. What is really going on? So you know what that means, right? That means they put his body out there, right?
Yeah, had to.
Think about it. That means they put his body out there. And you know what? That's what that guy from the Cajun Navy, that's why he felt like something wasn't adding up. Because the body didn't seem like it had been underwater, you know, probably wasn't bloated or whatever. Hold on. This is all crazy. Let's get into it. Here, this video says Nolan's friend speaks out. Oh, and by the way, yeah, we got pictures and names of them too. We already had the pictures, but now we have the names of them too.
Wait a minute. Unless Nolan Wells can be in two places at the same time, this new information just don't make no sense, and it cracks this case wide open. This is the place that Nolan Wells allegedly was unalived at, not the island. This is on land. I'm going to explain. Listen to this whole video because this new information gets crazy. Now, as we know, Nolan Wells missing after kicking it with his friends. Here are some of their names: Jax, Wyatt, Warren, Morgan. We're going to focus on Wyatt right now. Now, new witnesses are alleging that this is a pool party that was at Evan's house, one of his friends, Nolan's friends, after the 4th of July kick it when they were all on the island. And remember when all the guys were deleting their social media and scrubbing it or whatever? Guess where this picture comes from? Evan's Instagram page. This was posted after the island incident. And another thing that this confirms, if true, is remember that Nolan's dad said they searched the island and they didn't see anybody, and then a day or two later, a body came out of nowhere. This person is also saying this is why. They jumped Nolan, allegedly, according to this person, they jumped Nolan at this party. Him, Wyatt, and Nolan have been getting into it the whole day. Allegedly, they were drinking, and they were supposedly, the other guys were on some stuff, and they hit Nolan with a pole or something and jumped him, unalived him. So they saying after that, Nolan's body was stored in the boat, which is why that would explain why they were cleaning the boat. An eyewitness saw them cleaning the boat at 3 a.m. in the morning at the judge's house, even though the boat owner lived somewhere else. And of course, that would also explain why there was no body when the dad went, Nolan's dad. But then on that Monday, the body showed up days later, which could have been somebody dropping the body off, and they were trying to make it look like something happened on the island to throw off what happened actually on land, and I don't like it. Allegedly. What if I told you? Wait a minute, and let's.
Okay, this is all real crazy. Okay, now they looking even more guilty than ever.
Yeah, that's
So this must be what this other lady's talking about. Because I didn't get to see her video, but she said something about a fight. Hold on, let me pull this up. Meanwhile, I'm going to Benjamin Crump's Instagram to find out what he has posted. This is all crazy.
Said something. Nolan got back to land. Allegedly, there was a pool party at a house that my son has been at 1,000 times. I don't know why he didn't go that night. Allegedly, there was a pool party. Allegedly, Nolan did get into an altercation at the island with Wyatt, but it was quick. It was a blip, and then they all went to the pool party here in Ocean Springs. At the pool party, there were people drunk, there were people high. Apparently, the mom, allegedly, that was overseeing the pool party was also drunk. She was inside. The boys got into a fight with Nolan. The girl that wrote the comment said that, I don't know which boys, Andrew, Wyatt, Warren, there's a lot of kids involved in this. She said that Nolan was bent over, gasping for air with blood coming out of his mouth. He was yelling for his mom. After the fight, the mom came out and said, I'm going to call the cops. Y'all better leave. You have drunk kids and you're encouraging them to get in their car and leave. But anyway, the girl who wrote the comment said she tried to help, but then the mom threatened to call the cops. So then she left. And then we don't know what happened, because how did Nolan's body end up on the island? Who can transport a body? These are our neighbors, by the way, y'all. People's true colors are coming out, because the people who don't come out and say this is wrong, they are in bed with these people, these powerful people with money. They are in bed with them, either business wise or something, but something is off. There are too many people staying silent with this. What do you mean there are that many people involved? Do you know how much worse this is? This implicates so many people. How did his body end up at the island if this is true? There's a picture of him at this pool party. Go to Boogie Lowdown on Facebook.
Child, it's just all crazy. These mother suckers, honey. And everybody's covering this up. Okay, now you all tell me what you hold on, let me read this real quick. Okay, and then we'll go with you, the lounge. We'll go to Royal and then Obasi, then back to me. Okay, now it says Attorney Crump. Okay, it says repost. It says Nolan Wells investigation update. The streets are talking. Now listen, I don't know if these are facts or rumors. This is what DL Hughley. Hold on, who posted this? No, this is Crump posted this and it's reposted by somebody. Okay, anyway, it says Nolan Wells investigation update. The streets are talking. Now listen, I don't know if these are facts or rumors because no official statements have been confirmed. We sometimes have to follow all clues until the truth is found. Here is what was discovered on social media last night. Okay, social media allegations claim a photo exists of Nolan at a land-based pool party in Jackson County before 1 a.m. on July the 5th. Before 1 a.m. on July the 5th. So if he was there on July the 5th, and we clearly see the picture, I mean, we literally, it's definitely him. When I zoom in, it's definitely him.
And that was July 5th?
July the 5th. Here's the thing. The grandfather, it wasn't the father. Someone said it was the father, but no, it was the grandfather. I remember because I had that post. Matter of fact, I had it today. Literally, I had it today, but I showed it days ago. The grandfather, which is the father of Nolan's mother, he's Black. He said that he thought it was very strange that something wasn't sitting right because he said that how did he put it? He said that they went and searched for his grandson. They didn't find him. And then he said the next morning, he said his body was not there on the island. And then they went and found him the next morning. And he just didn't see how that made any sense because if it was there that morning, he said why they didn't see it the day or the night before. That's what he said. And you know what? The fact that they were at a pool party makes sense now because I was telling people yesterday that it was crazy that they left so early. They left there at 3 o'clock, 3, 4, somewhere around that area, and like before fireworks time even started.
Mhm.
So what do you think, the lounge?
So you said they left Horn Island before 3 o'clock, before the
They left.
fireworks?
They left Horn Island according to reports, right?
Uh-huh.
And according to what Warren's mother says, because I do believe she said that they left the last time they saw Nolan was around 3, and they left around 4:30, or they got back home around 4:30, something like that.
Oh, so did they leave Horn
They were
Island
going.
and go to the pool party? Or the pool
That's
party
what I'm
was on the
thinking.
5th?
Oh yeah, that was the next day. Well, it says 1 a.m. in the morning. So yeah, they went there that night, and this is 1 a.m. in the morning. You understand what I'm
Mhm.
saying? So it's after
Yeah.
midnight. That's why it's the 5th. It's not
Huh.
like it's late in the next day. They likely left Horn Island, went to that pool party. That's why they
Mm-hmm.
left early. That's just my thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's why that makes sense why they left so early, because I was thinking, why would you leave the island before the sun's even going down?
Yeah, especially on the
And
4th
what
of
time did y'all?
July, the fireworks and everything going on. Because that's when he went to Horn Island was July 4th, right?
Yes,
Which is a Saturday. So Sunday, something went down on Sunday for them to find his body on that Monday, right? The
right.
6th.
So that means they took his body there. That's what that would mean. And that's
Yeah.
explaining, that would make sense as to why somebody saw them cleaning their boat, like that lady said in the video, or like that guy said. This is all crazy. Nobody saw his
Mm.
body in the water. No, and like I told you guys, if he had drowned, then that would have been obvious. Somebody should have seen something, because there were still people on the island even as it got dark.
Mm. So they were
Hold
trying
on,
to get
Denise
Horn.
says, hold on. What do you think about that, Royal?
Um, it's actually pretty intriguing, in all of the wrong ways. I've got some experience being Nolan in that regard. And when you look at that picture, when I look at that picture with him in the pool, all I can do is flash back to times where living in a predominantly white area, I was at parties and things of that nature as the only Black person, or the only one that identifies with being Black. So
Mm-hmm.
it's troubling for me because there have been many occasions where, for example, I would get into an altercation. I say I was in a freestyle rap battle with a white kid, and he used the N word. So I immediately got defensive and things of that nature and told him that he couldn't say that. And the
Mm-hmm.
people that I came with
Mm-hmm.
sided with him, and I ended up getting put out of the party. And nobody that came with me supported my defense of the Black community at all. So these are people that I thought were my friends
Same
until
thing
an
with Nolan.
inconvenience, exactly, until an inconvenience arose. And then I
Mm.
found out who their allegiance was really to. So
Mm.
for me, it's something that needs to be focused on. And my experience is not everybody's experience, but
Mm-hmm.
it's only right for me to use my experience for me to develop my position, and that's exactly what I'm doing. So I feel trouble because if he did get into it with, was it Wyatt or Warren, whichever one, that's
Mm-hmm.
the inconvenience that could cause people to choose sides.
Right. Ooh, oh, Bossy, what do you think?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Um, I think a lot of things. I think that no, number one, this is what I was saying. I want to, catch to something the brother just said. I think that we have to do a better job of teaching our children the other side of the chessboard, because especially when our people get to make money and they want to move to the most white adjacent area, because what we do, in my opinion, we spend so much time over vilifying Black behavior as Black people. And we spend so much time telling them that once you get on or you get some money, you want to move furthest away from your people. that blindsides these children. So, like the brother just said right there, I can remember before I came into my right mind being the only black guy, or one of few black guys in a situation, or the Asker black guy. And I'm gonna share a story that happened with me, brother. I went out of town with some white friends. Now, my ancestors had my back even when I didn't have good sense. And I remember I went to Tennessee with a quote white friend. And number one, it was just weird because his son was like 14 years old and he was kissing his son in the mouth when they were greeting. And I was like, oh, this is weird. But anyway, I remember we were in his den and his wife was doing something. He was watching something on his phone. And I'm talking about he was laughing hysterically, y'all. Now, this is my quote unquote friend. He was laughing hysterically. And I was like, yo, man, what are you laughing at? And he turned his phone around and he was watching a video, like an animated video of police brutality of them beating a black guy. And he was cracking up laughing. And I was like, yo, what is that? So that kind of made me think. And it's like something that the brother said, we have to understand that no matter how much we feel that they are safe, they're always going to side, like the brother just said, they sided with them. His friends, the people he came with, sided with them. So we have to understand, and I think that, you know, even though it's movies, they show you how they think in these situations, like a movie like I Know What You Did Last Summer. Even though that's a movie, they'll show you how far they'll go to cover something up.
Exactly.
They'll show you that if they need to get parents in and whoever they need to get in, because it's always an inside job. So we have to stop thinking like of these people's behavior and start teaching our children the dangers of these people or creatures. I don't like to say people.
I absolutely have to agree with that. Now, okay, so Unrifling Christ says Queen, his friend Aleshia Spencer, that took that picture at the pool party, is saying they beat him with some object and left his body in the boat after he died. That sounds like a horror movie. Okay, this is all nefarious. This is so darn crazy.
Because Queen, just think about it. It really is a horror movie. Just think about it. Just think about it for being the only black person in that situation. You are in a real get out situation.
Hold on, you all. I'm sorry. I had to go get my phone real quick. Okay. Hold on one second. Go ahead, Joe.
Hello? Can you hear me?
I think you know, just while we waiting on her to come back, I think that the brother was spot on. We have to teach our children, you know, the signs. We got to teach them you know, who they actually dealing with. And as a matter of fact, the signs ain't enough. We have to teach our children what they're dealing with, period. All of this black righteousness that we try to walk around with, and everybody's all equal. We want them to treat us equal, so we gonna treat them equal and stuff like that. It don't work like that for me at all. I am of the belief that violence in response to violence is self-defense. So for us to respond to the way that we've been treated, to respond to the things that have taken place, it is not racism, it is not bigotry, it is not prejudice. Because prejudice means to prejudge prior to receiving information. We are judging based upon our experience and the experience of those that we know and that we hold near and dear. An example I gave the other night is, you know, when you've been dealing with storms for so long, you start to become weary or cautious of the raindrops, and not just the raindrops that have landed on you and caused you to be soaking wet. But when you look to the right and you see the rain has caused your brother or your sister to be soaking wet, you start to learn to be cautious of the rain. So we got to be a whole lot more cautious. And again, I'm going to reiterate, all of the black righteousness where we want to treat everybody how we want to be treated and things of that nature, While that sounds good in theory, while you treating somebody the way you want to be treated, but they knocking you over the head, no pun intended, you look like the fool. And there's only so long that the people who are doing this or the people who are watching it happen to you, it's only so long that they'll be able to consider you a victim rather than a willful participant in things that are to your detriment.
Right, bro. And think about this, because this is what I also say. We have to read this current climate. Right? We have to read this current climate. We can't keep going on the Republicans of the past. This atmosphere is so reminiscent of the past, right? And I say that to say things I think that you have to ask them, like, how did those other white boys feel about Carmelo Anthony? See, these little things, these little questions right here, they might seem minuscule and don't have nothing to do with nothing. But how did they feel about Carmelo Anthony? Something that's way out there. Could this have been some type of get back for that? You know, we have to think, because these are illogical creatures, right? So just think, like, how did your friends feel about a clear-cut self-defense situation? Did they feel like his 35 years was justified? And so if they feel like his 35 years is justified, that means they feel like you getting 35 years for a similar situation is justified. We have to, like, really reassess things. And like you said, bro, you hit a spot on the head. We can't keep teaching this, take the high road, and if we just keep showing them how smart we are and how fast we are and how that they're not human. I had a person on my live, and I made sure I highlighted, and I think the sister, I think the queen, she liked that comment that video where a white boy told me in my comments, because I made sure I said they don't get to use or call me racist in my life.
And also, hold on. One thing, Obasi, let's all remember we can't say certain words. We gotta say raccoon, stuff like that. But go ahead.
Okay. And I said, y'all don't experience that because, and we have to understand that because they don't experience that, because they don't experience any type of oppression, any type of thing or unfair treatment that they feel like that they're receiving, they feel like that's their thing. And this creature told me, he said, Black people don't experience racism either, because you have to be human to experience that. And I said, yo, see, he validated everything I said of how they see us.
Right. Exactly. That's exactly what he did. So I just feel like, this is all making sense. I absolutely believe it. And this also is likely why they're trying to grasp at straws now, because Obasi, what I was saying, I think before you got on here, is that this guy posted a video. Hold on, what is this coming on now? It's another video. I'm going to send it to my email so we can see it. But this guy did a video saying today that Benjamin Crump was heard telling Nolan's mother to cry. And then he was talking trash and saying, this whole thing is fake. And the people in his comments were agreeing with him and saying it was all fake, and saying, why would she need her attorney to tell her to cry? First of all, he didn't need to tell her to cry. And if he did, it wasn't because he needed to, in my opinion. And the thing is, it seems to me, as she's been going around doing the press runs, she has been trying to be strong so she can talk clearly and get her points across to get justice for her son. You understand? If you're broke down crying, in my opinion, sometimes you're not going to be as articulate as you could, and you're not going to be thinking as logically as you could also. That's just my opinion.
I would believe more that he was telling her that it's okay to cry because he saw her holding back and things of that nature. So he more than likely was telling her, hey, you don't have to, you don't have to stay strong this entire time. If you feeling it, let it go. You know what I mean? And, I don't never trust anybody to tell me about my people. If I don't see it for myself, I take it with a grain of salt.
Exactly, because they're already mad with the Carmelo situation with Ben Crump, joining and getting the possible new trial. So they're upset. So any type of anger that they can direct towards us with any situation, that's what they're going to do. and make up any kind of lies. Because like you said, if I haven't seen it for myself, I'm not going to believe that.
Exactly. And I didn't see any news reports about it, so he probably is lying because, like I said, as soon as I saw the video, I went to Google it and look and see if there was any articles or anything, but I didn't see anything. And then here's the thing too. There was a guy that did a video talking about now Black people are telling their children not to be hanging out with white people by themselves. And he was like, that's what happens when you get one group and you allow that one group to be racist. First of all, they've been racist. And second of all, my thing is, this is nothing new. Black people have been telling their kids not to hang around them by themselves. My mother told us that when we were kids. We were never allowed to be around them by ourselves or to spend the night with them. Now, they could spend the night at our house, but we couldn't spend the night at theirs.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So, hold on, let me read what Chief Jonesy has to say.
Remembers that.
Hold on, I'm gonna share this in a minute, but hold on. So Chief Jonesy says, Queen, it all went down at the judge's house that made the initial statement. Let's talk about she set the stage. You see, that's what I was telling you. I knew she was the one trying to do the whole cleanup job, trying to do damage control by making those statements, which I told you all she was not even supposed to do. Because as a judge, you cannot be sitting there trying to get involved in an investigation because your child is involved. Okay, because that just basically shows it's first of all unethical and immoral, and then it can be used, they can say that you're basically using your power and authority, okay, to try to run things, and that's exactly what she was doing. Okay, now Chief Jonesy, thank you for that insight, beloved, and your contribution to the channel. I appreciate you. Peace, love, and blessings. Now listen to this, and I'm going to tell you all something else. Don't you all think that they lied, the Coast Guard that is, when they initially said that no one had called them, and then they came out and changed it? This is after Ben Crump got on the case, right? If you notice, right after Ben Crump got on the case, they came right out and said, oh, we made a mistake. We did get a phone call from somebody around 11:30 or 12 something midnight. Okay, my thing is, how did y'all not have that information before? I said something about he didn't see the email or whatever. I think that was a convenient excuse because the young man that claims he called Warren, he may have been lying. Coast Guard says he suddenly remembered one of Nolan's friends contacting him. Yeah, this is the video right here. This must be what she's talking about.
He got a call on July 4th around 11 p.m. that Nolan Wells was missing. He got that call. Now, Coast Guard rescue is just what it says. The minute you get that call, you call the protocol, do what you're supposed to do, and everybody's getting out there going to go searching because that's what you're supposed to do.
Hold on, let me stop right there for a second. But here's the thing, you all, think about this. Okay, so he called the Coast Guard. Now, mind you, he also called Nolan's mom because Nolan's mom said in the interview she got a phone call at 11:07 from Warren, right? So I was saying that if Warren called her first and then called the Coast Guard, I said that didn't make sense to me because if you call the mom, then you let the mom do whatever she needs to do, or you talk to her about it and see where she wants to go. Why would he take it upon himself to call the Coast Guard? But also I said that if he called the Coast Guard before he called the mom, because we don't know exactly what time this happened, and I don't even know if it really happened, because like I said, now they're changing the story. But if he called the Coast Guard prior to getting in touch with the mom, that's definitely suspect, because why would you do that if you didn't know, unless you knew something was wrong with Nolan, because he could have been at the house with his mom for all he knew. But here's something else to think about. Either way, if he did call them either before or after he spoke to the mom, it really doesn't matter, because here's the question. Why would he think that Nolan was out there on that island? You understand? Why would he think that unless he knew that they did something to him and left him out there? How would you even know that? Because for one, even if Nolan wasn't at his mom's house, he could have been anywhere else. Why would you call the Coast Guard? Because here's the thing. The Coast Guard is search and rescue, right?
Yep.
Coast Guard is search and rescue, right? So why would you call search and rescue unless you knew that somebody wasn't going to be found? And if they were going to be found, they're going to be dead. Why would you do that? Think about it. Why would you call the Coast Guard for search and rescue unless you already knew that he was likely dead? Okay? They're just telling on themselves. These are amateurs. And just think about it, Royal, when we were in that live the other night on TikTok. So think about how Green Hornet kept saying he was thinking other people did it and nobody's going to do this and that or whatever. See, these are the things they do. They make up all these asinine excuses, okay, to try to throw us off because they want us to think what they're saying. They don't even believe what they're saying, but they want us to believe what they're saying. And, because some of our people are just, just not that, these raccoons specifically,
Mhm,
but
mhm.
they'll just go along with whatever they say. You know what I'm saying? But at the end, and they also feel, some of them themselves, the MAGA type mans, they feel like I'm white and I say so. So this is what y'all need to go by because this is what we're saying. Okay.
Right.
So now the whole thing is all coming unraveled. And another thing, the lounge, I don't know if you knew about this,
Mhm.
but someone had also alleged, um, in that same TikTok live, this white woman had alleged that her family who lives there told
Mhm.
her that they were in a restaurant like a day or maybe the next day after the situation when Nolan was missing,
Uh-huh.
and the waitress asked them, hey, aren't y'all Nolan's friends? Why aren't y'all out there helping to search for him? And then one of them was like, well, they already think we did it. Did what? Who said anything was even done?
Oh
Okay,
wow.
if he's missing, what are you talking about? He could be missing for a myriad of reasons, but what are you talking about? They already think we did it. What think you did what? Okay,
That's a guilty conscience speaking right off the bat.
yeah,
Guilty
and I'm gonna tell you
conscience.
something. I felt something was shady right away with that judge. Yeah,
Yeah,
I did
That's
because
yeah.
I
a
knew she was.
yeah,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
that's one of their
So you
mothers, right? Or stepmothers?
That's the stepmother of Warren.
One of them. Okay,
Yeah,
Warren.
and how
Okay, Warren's
also got.
stepmother.
Hold on, let me let this video finish.
mean to tell me you forgot you got that call? So that means you didn't call anybody. You didn't get a rescue team ready. You didn't do none of that because you forgot. So how does the military work? How do y'all do that? Do y'all reprimand? How is the reprimand? Does he still have a job? Is he still an officer? Make it make sense because it don't make sense. At the end of the day, yet another lie is out, and we just want transparency. And right now, it's coming out. It's coming forth, whether y'all like it or not.
Let me tell y'all something. This is the age of Aquarius, and all truths are coming to surface. Okay, what's
Mhm.
done in the dark is coming to light, and this is what they can't stand. Okay, now
Mhm.
that's set their head out, and to me, this is looking like their karma. Okay, because all
Mhm.
of these people involved, if what is now being alleged is true, if this is all true, they're all going down. And anybody that was complicit needs to go down too, including the police. Because
Mhm.
Ledbetter, what's his name? John or Jeff Ledbetter, the sheriff. Now you already know that he knows something about this stuff. That lady's a whole judge. I'm quite sure that he knows what's really going on. And why haven't they released the autopsy report? Do you all think that perhaps, I'm gonna ask you specifically, Royal, do you think that perhaps they're trying to wait on Ben Crump's autopsy report to come out first and then release theirs to see what that one says?
Yeah, I do believe that, and it's essential a sense of controlling the damages before the damages arise. So
Mm-hmm.
instead of them putting out something that can be debunked or to be disproven, they will wait for the other one, and then they'll consolidate or change their autopsy to match what it is that Ben Crump says to see whether or
Right.
not the second autopsy finds something that they wouldn't put in theirs.
Uh-huh, because I also heard that the person who does the autopsies, the medical examiner, is shady and works at the behest of the police. So that
Mhm.
absolutely makes sense to me.
Mhm.
Okay, so Tisha says the son told the judge Nolan was murdered, and this is the reason the judge lawyered up so the detectives cannot question them. Of course. Okay,
Mhm.
because now you have to consult my attorney. You can't talk to me.
Mhm.
Derek says definitely they want to be able to alter it so they don't expose themselves. Exactly. Because he was beat up, says Truth Bear. This is, oh my goodness. I wonder what they beat him with. Had to be something heavy, probably.
It
And
had to
because
be.
didn't they say that they said he was unrecognizable. Did y'all hear that in the reporting?
Uh-uh. I didn't hear that.
But yeah, and they said the mother had not been able to identify the body. That's what Benjamin Crump said the other day at their press conference. Someone specifically
Oh.
asked him, has she been able to identify the body? They identified his body by dental records. So do y'all think that they
Oh.
didn't want her to see his face? Isn't that what it likely
Wow.
is?
Oh wow! So they beat him bad. They had to beat him with something, a pole, some 2x4. They had to beat him with something if he was beat that bad, where he was
As
unrecognizable, and they had to use his dental, his dental records just to, to identify him. That's really bad. So they had to beat him after or sometime at that pool party when they left, they probably, because this what says they said somebody was going back and forth with him all day.
Yeah.
So it had to be
There
one of
was
who was
there
it?
was Warren. I think it was Warren. They said was going back and forth.
Yeah. So it had to get out of control to the point where he felt like he couldn't probably fight him one on one. Like he couldn't do anything but grab something and beat him so bad to where, he was unrecognizable. That is crazy.
You heard
And
that guy on that video said he was calling his mom. I'm sorry. Go ahead, beloved.
I was just gonna say that they like pack animals. They like
Yeah.
dogs. They like wolves. They can be cool with you one moment, but as soon as there's an altercation or a situation with someone within the pack, then they all turn into wild dogs. And I'm trying to leave my mind open, but no, I'm not naive enough for me to believe that there wasn't a situation where more than one person got involved because Wyatt or Warren was getting their tail handed to them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's exactly what it sounds like. And it reminds me of Obasi, did you want to say something, beloved?
Yeah, and just if we keep up with their patterns of behavior, they've never been like single. Like these are the same people that came for Emmett Till in numbers, right?
Right. A
So,
mob. Becoming a
so
lynch mob.
they always come in a mob or in a pack, right? So
Mm-hmm.
again, they know that athletically, genetically, they can't do nothing with us. So they need so they need help. And this is what I always say to the viewers that's gonna hear this now and hear this later on. You can't afford to date them. You can't afford to be their friends and not afford it financially. But look at what's going on. Look, the judges are it's a cover up allegedly. It's a cover up. They have numbers on their side. They have legality on their side. You can't afford that because the law is not gonna turn out in your favor.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And Tisha says, and I'm glad you said that, Tisha, because that's what I was thinking about, but I lost track of my thought. Tisha said the body was not waterlogged, so therefore it wasn't in the water for long. The phone is going to tell part of the story. Yeah.
That's
You know
true.
what? So, well, hold on. Now, Royal, do you think that that's why they had that darn phone too? Because if he wasn't killed on the island, right, then he would have had his own phone when he was at that pool party where they dumped his body. Still curious as to why you think they didn't dump the phone with him.
Um,
Maybe some adult told them to bring it back or something so they could go through it or see if it was anything incriminating in there. Maybe I'm
yeah,
just curious.
that's still, that still get to me the most. Not only the fact that they still had the phone, but the resistance or the fact that the parents had to pry. And as a matter of fact, they didn't even they had to track the phone themselves. So I am under the impression that them withholding the phone and things of that nature was to try to either get a complete wipe, so that they didn't have any type of evidence or proof as it pertains to them maybe leaving the island and going to the pool party, or text messages from one person to the next,
I just
or something like that.
I
Yeah.
just got it. I just got it, Royal. You know why I think they didn't leave it there? I just got it. I've been watching the ID channel all the time. Plus, I went to school for criminal justice. I'm thinking, you know why they didn't take that phone there? Because that phone could have pinged on their way there. Because even if you have them
Oh,
phones off and somebody's tracking it, they can still track it.
that's
That's
true
why they
too.
didn't take it there. That's what it was. Because if the phone is cut off and the mom's tracking it, which they didn't know if she was or not, she still could have tracked that
Oh.
darn phone, even if they turned it off, even if it was dead. And also, it might have still pinged off the towers. And then that will put them right there in the spot where they were going to dump that body.
Mm.
That's why. And the judge probably told them that because they wouldn't have thought of that on their own.
And I did
Oh,
bring that
wow.
up to Green Hornet the other night. Asked them whether or not there's something that would be able to track the boat. And we know for a fact that even when your phone is offline, the maps still work. So
Right.
your location is still being pinged and things of that nature. So that's an excellent point to me.
Right. Okay, and so that is real crazy. This is all they are busted. Okay, I wonder how they think they're gonna get out of this if all this stuff is true. How are they gonna get? And it all seems like it's true because it's very plausible. It's the only thing that really is making sense because the stuff they were saying didn't make any sense. Hold on, I'm Rifling Christ. Says Queen, what's your email? I'll send you screenshots of his friend Alasaya, whatever her name is, Spencer, so you can see and read to the group. Thank you, beloved. Please send it. And my email I just put in the chat is queenahmadiyyahshakur@gmail.com. This is all crazy. Let's go to this video where this man's talking trash. Hold on. Denise said a plan is always a cover up. Exactly. And the judge putting herself involved. She needs to be in jail too.
Making all kind of people mad. But it's the exact thing that would be national news if the races were flipped.
I don't even let my kids play at the park without me supervising the whole thing. So I'd be damned if I let my black kids hang out with a group of white kids unsupervised. You got me.
His black father. He says he refuses to let his own kids be alone with white children because he doesn't trust them. He's here openly admitting that he doesn't want his kids around any white kids. Just straight up. If a white father came out and said this exact same thing about black children, this shit would be everywhere. It would be called racist, hateful, dangerous. But because it's the other way around, it's just another Tuesday. This is what happens when one side is allowed to openly be racist, while the other side, they get destroyed for even noticing patterns. This double standard is completely insane.
See, I had to single this clip out specifically. See, I got to address him specifically. You know, you all are used to special treatment, aren't you now? The black father in the video is accurate and on point, especially in the current news climate that's going on currently about what happened on the 4th of July to Nolan Wells. You see, black parents have always been suspicious because it was bred into our survival since slavery that we couldn't trust you. Oh, okay. So wait a minute. You're mad that the black man is saying this publicly about not trusting white people. What about what was happening all throughout the history? What about what was happening just in the 60s when they desegregated? Right? What was happening when black people were trying to integrate and they were trying to go to the neighborhood pools and you guys would literally drain the fucking pools because you didn't want black people to swim in the pools? Does that ring?
What about the time they poured acid in the pools when the black people were in there? Okay, please.
The bell? And those people are still alive, huh? I know those people are still alive. And they've told you stories. See, white people have come out and told the truth and say about what the older people are telling them and the stories they get passed down. They even take pride in the ones who are actually offing black Americans. Oh, I got me one. You see, so a reasonable or logical person, human being, would understand why black person, black father, black mother would not trust their children around you all's children, right? Because children oftentimes exhibit the behavior that they have witnessed in their household. Yeah, like you said in the video, oh, it's just a Tuesday. Yeah, just like back in the day, it was just a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, didn't matter. That's just what it was. And no one cared.
Apparently this
I mean, he has a whole lot of nerve. It's the projection of it all, and now you're trying to play the victim when we've been you all's victims for centuries, you know. And it's just real interesting because I showed a video last night, you all, where there was a little white boy. He was probably no older than about 9 or 10, and the black lady was asking him what he wanted to be when he grew up. He said a murderer. He said, "Yeah, I like murder. I want to kill people. Yeah, because you know I watch movies." And he started saying all this crazy stuff, and then basically he said that he wouldn't kill his family, and the girl asked him if he would kill her, and she said no. So the bottom line is he knows it's wrong, but he still wants to do it. Okay, so I'm sorry, please make that make sense. What does a 9 or 10-year-old know about murdering somebody? Okay.
In the words of dear brother Malcolm, or excuse me, I see you about to say something, dear sister. Go ahead.
No, that is kind of crazy. A 9-year-old saying that, you know, they want to murder somebody. But I watched this one show. I don't know if it was on the ID channel or one of those channels that I like to watch with the crime, like crime and crime documentaries or whatever. And there was, you know, older white guy, and he was like, I want to unalive somebody, and he did. But it's like, how do you wake up in the morning and just want to say I want to unalive somebody? That's just strange behavior to me, but that's what a lot of them do.
Okay, go ahead, Royal, and then I'm gonna read you all these posts. Thank you. I'm rifling Christ. I got it, beloved.
The dear elder Malcolm said that he spoke to the wolf not wanting the sheep to become aware of the wolf's behavior. The wolf wants you to believe that he came to make friends and things of that nature. And usually when they present themselves as friends, it's because they don't necessarily have an appetite at that time. But just so long and just as soon as they develop that appetite, then they're already close enough to devour whomever it is that they're in the vicinity of. So that's what we're dealing with. These people who may not have the particular appetite themselves, but they don't want you to associate what the other wolves are doing with their being a wolf.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But real
That's
quick,
a good analogy.
real
Go ahead,
quick,
Obasi.
you know what's always funny is when they try to say, "Oh, but if the roles was reversed, oh, if this was."
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah,
The
they love
roles
to hit us with
come
that one.
on, you started the role. You set the tempo for the role. What are you talking about?
Right. This right here, what that black father was saying, was simply a reaction to their nefariousness. And it's interesting because they love to say that we play the victims, but no, that's what they do. They play the victims. Racist people always play the victim. Then they start talking about reverse racism and all of this BS. Okay, so I'm Rifling Christ. Thank you for sending me this, beloved, and thank you for a contribution to the channel. I appreciate you. Peace, love, and blessings. Okay, now I'm gonna pull this up so we can see exactly what she said. I hope she's tucked away somewhere because I know they're gonna be coming for her. Okay, so says Amanda Marie, just saying that because he is friends with them. I mean, we all was until I don't know why Jay's still communicating with them anyway, but he always been like that, LOL. But nah, this messed up because no, which is I'm gonna assume Nolan, still would be here if he didn't go to that pool party. He went around people that was real high, and the parents allowed it. But yeah, no did make it back to land. Okay, Jamie Albright, LOL. Obviously, I did that. I did. That's how they got his phone because I called it, LOL. And his phone and keys was on top of his Xbox. That's why they requested him to have a private autopsy, LOL. Because once they came to the house, Evan and Warren had deleted everything, including the videos No posted that night. And I showed them the pic of all of them at the pool party that night. So wow. I hope the truth will come to light and Nolan gets the justice he deserves. K. Marie Hill, yes, ma'am. My brother going to get justice. The truth is out. The truth is out. They took him back to the island that Monday morning at around 4 a.m. They found him, I think, 8 or 9 a.m. I can show you the picture as well. I would tell you to go look at it, but Evan deleted the picture Sunday. And then Alicia Spencer says, if this is true, it's confusing. If Nolan went to the pool party after the island, how did his body get discovered on the island? You're saying they beat him up at the pool? Why wait till now to tell his mother? Okay, Marie Hill, his mother knew, ma'am. I've been told her. Yes, Andrew was trying to keep us quiet and trying to put fear to us because he bigger than all of us. But I told no, mom, and that's why the private autopsy was made. But yes, it was a big fight at Evan house at the pool the same night. But yes, Wyatt and Andrew and Evan was jumping him after Evan mom threatened to call the cops on everybody to leave her house. Everybody left, but didn't. He wanted his phone. Amanda Marie, Jay saying that because he's friends with him. I mean, okay, that's the same one. I already read that. So this is all very interesting, you all. Anybody have anything to say about these messages?
So it happened after the pool party, after they left, 3 o'clock from Horn Island is when everything happened. And if his body was thrown in, and that did happen while they were at the island, yeah, your body would be submerged. It would be bloated. It would be like, a lot of water
It
in
would have
it.
been waterlogged, exactly.
Yeah.
Because it
Yeah.
would have been there for what, 2 days if they didn't find it till the 6th, right? At least a
Right.
day and a half.
Yeah. Wow. So,
What
mm.
kind of strings are they
But
going to pull now? Royal,
another,
I'm
oh,
sorry, go ahead. The
another
lounge.
another thing is that they deleted those messages between the two, between Nolan and the other person. But
They deleted all of them.
yeah, but I'm sure that the like the phone company, however, like what they call it, like
Yeah, of
the
course. They still got all of that stuff is in the cloud.
yeah,
Absolutely. You can't delete nothing. You can think
yeah,
you deleted out the phone, but they can absolutely
yeah,
screen it that and get the records.
yep.
It's all crazy.
Hmm.
Go ahead, Royal.
Um, this part for me, it is difficult because um without there, or excuse me, I think that if it was as simple as him accidentally getting into the water, falling into the water, or something like that, I think the autopsy would have been out so that they can, so that they can provide an explanation for why the boys behaved in the way that they did. If it was as simple as him drowning, we would have the autopsy. Period. Point blank.
That's
And
right.
that's how I feel about that.
You're right, because they already did it. You're right. You're right. So we should have known something. And here's the thing, too. I had asked somebody, it was a white lady that did a video, and I left her a comment. And I said, I know the autopsy hasn't come out. Oh, and also for those of you in the chat asking whether or not there was water in his lungs, we don't know that, beloveds. We won't know that information until the autopsy report is released. But I don't think there's going to be any water in his lungs. Okay. But yeah, this is all crazy. So I forgot what I was going to say. I was going to say something about um
the
this
white lady
lady's video.
a message. Yeah,
Yeah,
she left a message.
I left a comment. I can't remember what I was going to say about it, but it was something she was saying on her video that led me to ask her a question about it. Well, she was basically trying to say, oh, this is what it was. She was saying that when people were suggesting in the comments, right, that what if his face is messed up or his body had bruising or anything like that on it? What would she think about that? Because she was going so hard in the paint, acting like, oh, he just drowned and this and that. And they said, okay, well, what if his body, if it turns out after the autopsy that his body had bruising or his face was messed up or anything like that? She said, well, that could happen from the what did she say? The life under the water. She said they could have been nibbling on him, and then it could have been the underbrush or whatever and all that. But I'm like, if the body wasn't waterlogged, that's likely not even going to be the case. So if we see anything like that, we're going to 9 times out of 10 know something nefarious happened.
I would need extensive evidence to show why he didn't wash up on shore the next day. Why did it take until the 6th? If something happened to him on the 4th or within the midnight hours of the 5th, early morning on the 5th, then why didn't his body come in with the tide? Why did it take a whole 24 hours? I'm not under the impression that anything is strong enough to hold him under the water like that. Maybe 100 crabs and this, that, and the third. Because I heard somebody last night saying that that he was food for the animals down there. But I would still have a hard time understanding how that how the undertow or things of that nature, how it would be able to hold him for more than 24 hours when the tide had to come in.
Right.
And I don't think that, because I had a coworker years ago, I was telling you, Queen, that was swimming and got taken down by the undertow, but his body, came up and surfaced. It wasn't like, it was held down for a long time, long period of time. It was, I don't know how the undertows go, but it did like take him, but then they found his body. So yeah, that's and if there's no water in his lungs, there's definitely, they just probably threw him in there and then allegedly called and said that we see a body over here in the river and the what, the Horns Island or whatever the place was.
Right. Okay, so TJ Corbett says bruising happens before death. What do you mean bruising happens before death, beloved? What are you talking about? Bruising happens before death if somebody does something to you. You're saying that.
I think what he's saying is that it couldn't have happened afterward.
Right.
Bruising and stuff couldn't have happened afterward because a bruise is a lively response to trauma.
Right, exactly. And then you need the blood to be circulating for bruising anyway. Yeah. So the underbrush might it wouldn't bruise the face. It would basically could have like cuts and scrapes. Something like that is probably what she was talking about. But nonetheless, like I had said, I don't think that would have been the case because the body wasn't waterlogged according to the Coast Guard or the Cajun Navy. One of them said that, I remember. So yeah, this is definitely, so what they're doing, in my opinion, that guy that did that video, I only saw one person did that video. And the only reason I even saw the video is because a friend of mine was talking trash. Somebody that went to my high school, was talking trash about Ben Crump. You know, some of these people don't care for Ben Crump because they say he doesn't get justice, but Benjamin Crump is a civil rights attorney, not a criminal. And so he was saying, yeah, you know, Benjamin Crump, he's just trying to make money off this and da da da. And he probably gonna just using this lady's case to make money or whatever. And I said, what is he getting paid? The lady hasn't sued anybody. She's just trying to get justice, trying to get to the bottom of it. So as for right now, there's no way he's making money off of this. What are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so he was glad to send me that to say, see, yeah, I told you, wasn't I right? Didn't I call it? Nah, you did. Okay, sit down somewhere. This is really crazy. So now here's the thing though. Just from everything else we've heard, do you all feel like I'll start with you, Royal, and then go to Obasi and then back up to Jordan and me. Okay, so do you feel like that this story sounds more plausible with everything else that we've heard? For example, we heard days ago that someone who knew them and lived there, a person named Alexa, and also there was a guy as well, because I literally heard him in a TikTok live, saying that this group was not a good group and that they did illegal substances. Now, the guy said he wasn't going to say what they did, but he said that's what they all do. And he said he was wondering if they were having an argument because they were trying to get Nolan to do it. Okay, so now we read these messages that the Spencer girl wrote, and they're talking about they were all high. So that all sounds like, you know how the bits of the pieces, you get a few crumbs here and a few crumbs there. Now it seems like it's all coming together. Wouldn't you say, beloved?
Most definitely. And you know, the more I hear, or the more I look at Javon, you know, the more I scratch my head with the way he speaks so confidently and things of that nature, but still inconsistent and things like that. Like when he was asked whether or not he thought it was racially motivated, and he's, oh, well, they're going to make it into race because nothing's adding up. Well, it sounds like you should be speaking with a little bit less confidence because you know that things aren't adding up too. You know, then as far as I'm concerned, I think that them getting the lawyers before they were asked any questions is the equivalent of what they assumed Carmelo to have been doing when he said, I'm not alleged, I did it. He wasn't admitting, you know what I'm saying? They take that as him admitting guilt. I take them lawyering up before being asked any questions as the same thing.
Right. Exactly. Because he didn't say that he actually stabbed him. As far as I was concerned, Carmelo could have been saying, yeah, I'm not alleged I did it. He could have been saying he was the one that was involved in the incident because everybody was pointing at him or whatever. Obasi, what do you think about all of this and this new information specifically?
I think I'm going to use that white boy that you played. I'm going to use if the roles was reversed. Let's use if the roles was reversed.
Okay.
One white boy, the lone white boy in a group full of black people. Do you know how they would have pulled up if they weren't on drugs or using substances? Do you know how that would have been the first thing? And it's always crazy, like how they tried to hide the Metcalf boys' behavior, because they don't want those things to be played into factor, because it shows a pattern and it shows guilt. So let's just say they were all on those substances, and that's what the argument could have been about. And they were mad at him for some reason because, like somebody said before, the argument is so whatever the argument was, it kept carrying over and it kept carrying over. It wasn't resolved until it finally blew up. So you already got their animalistic aggression without substance. So now if they're on substance, how horrible do we think that behavior is? And so that's what I'm always saying. I love to. I see one. I'm one of the people I love to point to their character because that's what they love to do. See, if Carmelo would have been the one that was had character issue, they would have played that.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think. And like the white boy said, if the roles was reversed, and your white son left with his black friends and nobody knew nothing, come on now.
Yeah. That would not have said well. I'm gonna tell you right now, everybody that they thought was involved would have been locked up, including if it was a black judge that was sitting there trying to do damage control or whatever. Okay, and we already know that. But this white man want to sit up here and act like we're crazy, or the black man's crazy for saying keep your kids away from white kids. Please make it all make sense. That's nothing new. We've been telling our kids that. Sadly, for Nolan, he wasn't told that clearly. I just feel like this is all crazy. Right from Christ says, Queen, they're saying they used a metal bar that had been attached to the pool to beat Nolan and urinated on him in front of all of those kids there. My God, those kids need to be arrested and questioned. Now, here's the thing. They need to go to that house right now and search with a search warrant. They need to go there because all of this stuff's coming out. Where are the police and what the hell are they doing at this point? They need to be there with search warrants, checking for DNA fibers and everything, fingerprints, looking for the weapon, that pipe, because I know they probably took that and threw it somewhere and tossed it. Okay, that's what they need to be doing. That's what they need to be doing. This is all so darn crazy. The brother's family address would have been posted and their jobs. Okay. Yeah, this is a whole lot.
Just to touch on the Carmelo situation, the fact that so many white people or non-black people are glossing over the fact that them boys had a history of racism and things of that nature, that's telling to me too. You know what I'm saying? They don't want to acknowledge the hostility that comes along with racism. It's a natural form of hostility. And it's just so many different things, you know what I'm saying? But that situation shows us that they will show loyalty to themselves and to each other rather than seeking right versus wrong.
But notice, bro, notice facts, bro, and notice that when they try to cry the reverse racism, as the sister just called it, and I said, well, y'all do know when you reverse something, it has to come from one direction, and I turned it back, if that was the case. But notice how they minimize the aggression behind it, like you said. But when it's us, they're focusing on our resistance, and they call it aggression.
Okay, so Tish says we know a lot of black people don't get criminal justice, so they have to hit justice in the pockets. That's right. Okay, distinctly Dree says Ben Crump only takes cases where he can sue for civil rights being violated. Him detaching from cases is documented. He's not making money today, however, the potential is there due to the situation. Well, at the end of the day, yeah, that is true. And at the end of the day, so be it, because Nolan's family needs to be compensated. They need to sue the judge, okay, the parents of all those other nefarious kids. And here's the thing. Now, we saw the picture at the pool party, right? So that means if this actually did occur, if this is what happened, and I absolutely think that it is, it sounds very plausible. If this is exactly what happened, how many witnesses were there? And what's going to happen to them? And if those kids, all of them that we saw in the pool, right? If they all saw these things happen, you already know they're going to start rolling and they're going to be willing to testify and tell everything so they can try to get themselves out of trouble, even though they still should get some form of culpability.
They're probably going to use the Metcalf method and intimidate them and put fear in them so they won't.
Yeah, for some of it's too late to me because they already said stuff online. I wonder what they're going to do now. But you're absolutely right. And see, here's the thing. I think they probably have already done that, Obasi. I think they probably have already done that for the past few days.
Yeah, probably so. I think they were already, to me, plotting and planning, because if this happened July 4th, they had a whole day, Sunday, the 5th of July, to try to piece together some type of story for his body to show up Monday morning. That's just like very suspicious to me. But at the same time, You know, the mother is a judge, the stepmother is a judge. You know, they had a little bit of time to put their story together. Then they lawyered up. So that tells you right there the signs of guilt. Why would you have to go get a lawyer if y'all didn't do anything to Nolan? So it's yeah, it's I mean, I learned a lot just hearing this live with a lot of things that you guys spoke about, because I didn't know all of these things were going on, like, you know, him getting hit allegedly, you know, with the pole and stuff. I didn't know that, because I was thinking that they got into a fight, they went on a boat, they probably pushed him over, the undertow got him, and then his body came up. But now that I'm finding out this information, I'm thinking about it at a whole different angle.
Right. Hey, Kristen, beloved. Kristen said they all need to be charged. Exactly. I wanted Kristen to be on the panel, but I didn't get back to her until it was too late because I didn't even see she had responded back. But thank you for tuning in. Okay. I appreciate you. You'll be on the next panel that I have. Okay. She said they all need to be charged. They absolutely do. They absolutely do. Okay.
Also,
Rosalind said prayer and power tools. You know what kind of tools she's talking about. But this is really so sad. And I'm going to tell you something though. Now think about the messages we read, right? Do you all think the girl said that she said that she told the mom already, right? So that means that Nolan's parents already know this. They just didn't say anything. See, they played it smart. They played it smart, because I wouldn't have said any damn thing either. I would let people just sit there and tell their lies, talk their trash, and think whatever they wanted to think, paint their narratives. Because what we're going to do is we're going to get this independent autopsy, and that's going to tell the tale of whether or not the allegations that girl has made are in fact true. And that's when you hit them. Yeah, they did the smart thing. And I'm going to tell you all something too. See, that's the difference between Nolan's parents and Carmelo Anthony's parents. And I hate to compare, but they seem much more well, they just seem like they know more about how to get justice, because they reached out to Benjamin Crump. And here's the thing, that was excellent thinking, because like somebody just said, I put the comment up here, Benjamin Crump can shine a light on these things, okay, with his celebrity and everybody knowing him. And see, here's the thing, if you're just a regular person like they are regular people, they probably don't have the resources, you know what I'm saying, to afford to get a second autopsy done, or they wouldn't have been able to get in touch with Colin Kaepernick, who's paying for it and all this stuff. So it's just like they really got the ball rolling. Whereas sadly, in Carmelo's case, his parents were advised not to hire Mike Howard, that nefarious attorney who sold him up the river to be railroaded. Okay, you know, the father even said that he was being hard-headed. I forget the term that he used, I'm paraphrasing, but he basically said he didn't listen because the Black people were telling him not to hire that man. And their bishop said he was trying to get him to get this Black attorney. And he just went along with Mike Howard. And likely because Mike Howard has been voted the best criminal defense attorney in Dallas for 10 years in a row. And that's how you know that he threw that case. Okay. And then now, and here's the thing, this is all, I want you all to pay attention to something. Have you all noticed how this is all working out for our good? Like, seriously, even with this case and the Carmelo case, because now that Mike Howard came out and gave that affidavit telling all the details, now I'm going to ask you first, the lounge, then I'll go to Royal, and then Obasi, then back to me. So, Joy, I'm sorry, I keep saying your name. I know you don't mind, but what do you think about, what do you think about that with the Carmelo thing, with the lawyer coming out and doing that affidavit? Now, why do you think he gave all those details in that affidavit?
I think he's scared, and I feel like his what's it called? His like license, that like the bar is like in jeopardy because of what happened. Because for me personally, after I didn't read it, but I was listening to you and a couple of other, like, you know, content creators. Basically, this was like a handshake. Like, no, we're not gonna talk about the boy's behavior. We're not talking about Carmelo's behavior. Well, Carmelo never had any bad behavior, no prior bad acts. Anyway, he had nothing but great things, working 2 jobs. He saved a little boy. Even to not even have that boy's mother come up and speak on Carmelo's behalf, that was really crazy to me. But I really think with the handshake, they all knew that all this money, the GoFundMe money, was out there, and they know a lot of Black people, you know, sent Carmelo money on that GoFundMe to help fight his case. I feel it was a handshake, and they probably told his attorney, this is just me thinking outside of the box, but they like, okay, what we're gonna do is we're not gonna talk about the twins' bad behaviors. We're not gonna talk about Carmelo's bad behaviors because he has none anyway. And then we're gonna do this X, Y, and Z, and then we're gonna charge you some of that GoFundMe money because it's all so suspicious how they were able to get the GoFundMe money and then sell Carmelo up the river with their personal handshake and agreement. So I think that Howard got really scared, and he put that affidavit out there to basically like, okay, look, this is just what happened. And he didn't
Right.
do his best, because if you are an attorney in 10 years, you had, this great record. What happened with Carmelo?
Exactly. Okay,
But
go
that's
ahead,
my
Royal.
thoughts.
Thank you.
So this situation with Mike Howard, to me, it paints a different picture, and not different from what you saying, dear sister, at all. But I've actually been in situations where I've seen the prosecutors and the defense attorneys or public defenders and prosecutors intermingling and things of that nature. So I was helping to open up a business out in Carson City, Nevada. So the capital of Nevada, and the owner was married to the head public defender. So on one of the days where we're practicing or training and things of that nature, he brings her and her colleagues in, and he introduces her. Hey, this is my wife. She's the head public defender. Then you get a line of public defenders. But then one particular woman, he said, this is the head prosecutor. This is the district attorney. So I'm like, wait a minute. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, what y'all doing? You know what I'm saying? What y'all doing together? And like, it's not that they came into the business separately and they sat on separate sides. No, they was at the same table. And when I went to serve the head public defender, I heard her say, oh yeah, well, I'm willing to give a little on that case if you're willing to give a little on this one. And from that moment on, it changed the entire way that I thought about the criminal justice system in and of itself. Because you mean to tell me that over a meatball sandwich, y'all sitting over here discussing somebody's life and the logistics of what you willing to do, and this is somebody's life that you talking about at a lunch meeting, you know what I mean, at a work meeting or whatever. So from that point on, I started to look at things differently. So when you look at the fact that Worski used to work with, or excuse me, Tony Shook, whatever his name is, Shook used to work with Willis.
Worski,
excuse me, whomever.
Yeah, had a whole firm.
Yeah, and then there's a handshake deal. What are we talking about, a handshake deal? And then you develop your entire case off of this handshake deal. You have no contingency plan. You have no plan to take things in another direction if the deal falls through right there in the midst of the courtroom. They say that that Howard violated the agreement by mentioning that Carmelo played chess. Right. Now, what if the prosecutors had reneged on the deal themselves by saying something that was against the deal? He was not prepared to move forward in defense of Carmelo in case that took place. So for me, it sounds like one of those lunch meetings that I've been hip to, that I've been able to see myself. It sounds like something that was discussed over lunch, and that would that would be swept under the rug if we didn't pay so much attention to it. I think that's what Howard's true belief was that they were just going to be able to push through the Carmelo case, and it was just going to be over, whether it was right or wrong.
Okay, Obasi, what do you think?
Like that brother just said, your life and freedom is discussed over a meatball sandwich. And to me, the play in that situation was to where they was like they were getting a fair deal by saying we're not going to discuss either one of the kids' behavior when only one side had terrible behavior. But and that's saying he violated for saying that Carmelo played chess. Well, that also signified that he has a sharp IQ, he has a sharp mentality, he's a thinker. And it's just it's a positive thing. And also, like this is how we get blindsided because we don't have, a lot of our people have a low racial self-worth or a low racial esteem that you feel like you can't hire your own as a lawyer if you want to get justice, and because white people know what they're doing. If you want to get freedom, you better hire a white person, and that's how the setup was right there the whole time to pounce on their vulnerability and them knowing that they'll feel like you got a best chance if you get one of them to fight against it.
Yeah, I think that was the play right there, the aesthetics of it all. Okay, now Big Boy says, Queen, I know we all want to know what happened to Nolan, but today is a celebration announcement. Sith Lord Lindsey Graham has passed the gates of hell. Honey. Yes, he did. Okay. Won't he do it? Okay. Mitch McConnell is up out of here, too. They can quit lying and trying to wait till the midterms pass to let us know because they don't want a Democrat to get his seat. But, honey, it's all coming out in the wash.
Yeah,
okay, but I just want to tell.
Yeah, they're doing the weekend at Bernie's with Mitch McConnell. So.
Yes, exactly. But you know what's the irony of it all? That's what they said about Joe Biden when he was in there. They was calling him Sleepy Joe and all that. Now we got video footage of Trump sitting up there snoozing hard as you know what. Okay,
and in his diaper,
like he's laid back sleep. He's just not nodding. He's like laid back sleep.
Okay, I have not been going in on Trump in the past week or so because I've been covering this and the Carmelo Anthony case. But honey, I was going in on Trump every day for months. I got to get back on his R's. Okay, but so here's what I want to say. That judge needs to be in a whole heap of trouble. Okay, and I want to hear what they have to say for themselves. Okay, and did they really think this is going to fly? Like they had to have known with all of these people knowing and having been there, all these people knowing what happened, they knew somebody was going to start talking. They should have known somebody's going to start talking. And then I'm going to tell you what, they probably knew once Ben Crump got involved and they found out about that second autopsy. That's when whoever was there that was going to possibly keep quiet was like, yeah, we got to say something. Because we're not trying to go down as conspirators, you know what I'm saying, aiding and abetting and a whole crime and all. And whose house was this at? Now, was this pool party? Did they say it was at Wyatt's house or was it at the judge's house?
They said it was at Evan's house.
Evan. Okay.
So the judge's house is where the boat was taken to be cleaned. And it is not her boat. So that's what raised the antennas in that regard. Is why would you take the boat to somebody's house? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that would be the distinction there for those 2 points.
Wow. And I know that it looked like a lot of people. It looked like a lot of people were in the pool. So y'all know these children have their cell phones glued to their hips and their hands. So I know there was plenty of footage taken from there that day at that party.
Right. And that's why their phones need to be confiscated. And let me tell you something, too. I had mentioned days ago that I thought it was very interesting how the police supposedly wanted Nolan's phone from his parents, and the mom told them no. And I'm glad she did. And I wonder if she had already talked to Crump and Crump told her not to give it to him. Either way, I'm glad she didn't. Okay, because what were they wanting his phone for? Because my question was, why are they wanting Nolan's phone but not those kids? Why haven't they confiscated their phones? Why hasn't any of them been detained? Okay, so yeah, they wanted Nolan's phone. But yeah, some of them probably did take some pictures or there's some sort of evidence, digital evidence, I'm pretty sure. And I wonder if there was even cameras at the house, which there likely was, because we know rich people have cameras around their stuff. Okay, so they're just, honey, they're just out of here. They just have missed a big time. But I absolutely love this because the low down racist MAGA minions, because that's who they are. All of these people that go against us when situations like this and the Carmelo case happened, they always are Trump supporters. Okay, they always are down for Trump, and they proudly tell you if you ask them, who did you vote for? Oh, Trump. They're proud to be MAGA minions. So with that being said, they're the ones that are the problem. But let me tell you something. It's so interesting saying that they talked all that trash, and now everything that we initially were all saying about Carmelo's case is now been confirmed. Like, but they literally said in the affidavit, I literally couldn't believe that they came and said out of his mouth. Mike Howard said that the prosecutor told him that Austin was the primary aggressor. Now, how do you get out of that? So you definitely railroaded him. Okay, so you hid exculpatory evidence. And here's the thing. Let me say what I think about Mike Howard and why he's saying all of this. I feel the same way, that he doesn't want to get disbarred, but he also doesn't want to go to jail. Because what he did, he can literally go to jail for that. Okay, he can literally go to jail for that. You violated the constitutional rights of your own client. You sabotage your own case. You can be locked up for that, and you're definitely going to be disbarred. But see, the way the affidavit read, the way it was written, he was trying to act as though he were the victim. He was acting as though the prosecution had the upper hand and that the prosecution basically made him do this. And, oh, that's the reason Carmelo can testify, because the prosecution said I violated the agreement when I said something about him playing chess. I didn't say anything about him being on the chess team. I just said that he did it for a hobby. And he was trying to make himself out to be the victim. But see, I'm going to tell you why that's not going to fly. It's not going to fly because Mike Howard. Why would you make that nefarious, foolish deal anyway that he called a gentleman's deal? Why would you make that deal anyway when you know that Carmelo didn't have anything bad in his background? So that deal only benefited the prosecution and the Metcalf, right? Now, he did say in the affidavit, however, that there was some sort of violence, that he didn't want to expose that violent incidents had happened to Carmelo in his home. That's irrelevant to me, because if it happened in his home to him, he was not the perpetrator of it. So if that means maybe his parents, I don't know what he was talking about, but if you're trying to say his parents did something, okay, well, that's just something they'll have to get over, but that didn't have anything to do with Carmelo's behavior. Okay, so he absolutely should not have made that deal.
So let me read something from Mike Howard. This is an email that goes out from his firm, and it is, pretty much in promotion of himself almost. It reads, after 22 years of practicing criminal defense in Dallas, I can tell you that by being the opposite of a bulldog, I've achieved greater outcomes for my clients through better deals with prosecutors and more humane sentencing from judges. I know the DAs, I know the judges, I know the prosecutors and their bosses. I'm down at the courthouse all the time. I've built a reputation as a good, friendly guy, but that doesn't mean I pull punches in the courtroom. I respect my opponent and touch gloves before the fight and never fight dirty. But while we're in the ring, I don't hold back. I punch hard for my clients, and it's because of the relationships I've built behind the scenes that my finesse in the courtroom is more effective. Now, I could go forward, but I think I don't know about nobody else, but it sounds like I read enough to me when he says that through being a friendly guy, he's gotten better deals on the behalf of his clients. Now, I want to know whether or not it's plausible to think that if his relationships with the prosecutors, the DAs, and the judges get him better outcomes, is it the same for the prosecutor? If the prosecutor has a good relationship with the defense attorney, with the judges and others, does that help him in his case or his seeking a conviction? So if it worked for the goose, does it work for the gander too? I think he told us exactly what it is that took place and why he did the quote unquote gentleman's deal. Trying to be a friendly guy.
And I don't know if like Carmelo's parents or the family representative, I can't remember his name, like me, I'm a person, I'm gonna do a lot of research before I hire and pay my money, even if it's GoFundMe money, but I'm gonna do my research. And if I would have read that, I'm like, I would want the lions, tigers, and bears of an attorney for me personally, if I'm fighting for my life or my son's or my child, my child's life. I won't want nobody that's saying they're friendly this, they're friendly that. Like, to me, for me personally, if I would have read that, that means that you really don't care. You're not gonna fight like I need you to fight, because paying you to fight for my life, and you trying to be friendly. I don't need you to be friendly right now at this point in time of my life, and that's just me personally. But we see, the gentleman's deal is, was in effect, and that affidavit kind of told it all.
The fact that he made that agreement just says to me that he was definitely in on the railroading of Carmelo. There was no logical explanation for him to make that deal. Like I said, it didn't benefit but one side, and it wasn't his. And in fact, the only time that a prosecutor is supposed to make an agreement would be to secure a guaranteed favorable outcome for their client. This was not a favorable outcome. And also to mitigate the risk of maximum penalties at trial, okay, and things like that, such as long-term consequences, a long, lengthy sentence or whatever. But the bottom line is Carmelo should not have a 35-year sentence. He should not be in prison, period, because we all know it was self-defense. And now we further know because of his affidavit. So thank you, Mike Howard, for spilling all the tea to try to save yourself, which is not going to help you in the long run.
That part.
Okay, Lindell says, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I and this is speculation, but I got a strong feeling that Mike Howard agreed to that deal, and somebody had already gotten what they wanted out of the front part of the deal. For example, Mike Howard was defending somebody, and the prosecutors for Carmelo was prosecuting somebody. They had already, they had already had a deal that had come into fruition in terms, or for example, when I said earlier, I'm willing to give a little on this case if you're willing to give a little on that case. I think it was one of those types of deals. And Mike Howard had already given his little on a case. So he was under the impression that everything was everything. And then, the prosecutors ended up reneging at the last second. So that's what it sounds like. That's what it feels like to me, is that they made a deal about two separate cases, how many ever cases. And Carmelo just got the shortest end of the stick because Mike Howard was not prepared to go to war for him if anything had fallen through.
If the prosecutor reneged, like you said, right. That makes sense.
Right.
That makes sense. Okay, now Lindell says, I sent your email. Apparently Nolan was crying out for his mom as they beat him. I sent it if you didn't receive it. I did receive it, beloved. There was another video I played that said that also. Let's go to this one, though. Thank you for insight into the topic, for sending the video and your contribution to the channel. Okay, I appreciate you. Peace, love, and blessings. Okay, let's go ahead.
Yeah, we did it. We sure did do it. What you think? What you think we do when we take y'all young men camping with us?
It says exactly what I said. Whether Nolan Wells' friends did it or not, his drowning was not an accident. Look at him bragging and laughing.
We know them boys don't know how to swim. Yeah. We throw them in that water. We say, swim, boy, swim. Whoa, learn how to swim, boy.
Hold on, I can't hear music on this end, you guys. Sometimes is he playing some copywritten music?
I'm not sure.
I've never heard of that song.
Okay, what did you say, Joy?
Yeah, I've never heard of that song, so I don't know if it's copywritten.
Okay, I'm not gonna play it because just in case it is, I don't want to have to edit this video. If I don't get paid for it, that's one thing. I don't mind that, but I don't want to play a song where they're gonna be blocking the video. Because they'll do that sometimes. Okay, so anyway, he thinks it's funny. And listen, here's what I told my people yesterday. I basically told my people yesterday, music is playing, but don't know about copyright since Friday. Okay, thank you, beloved. So I appreciate you. This is just all crazy. Let me go to this next clip. Hold on. This one shows them in the pool. It says they set Nolan Wells up. Someone finally spoke the truth. Let me tell you all something. They were arguing at the beach or at the island, right? And then so yeah, this did continue on throughout the day because the one of those messages, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe it was that first video, but they said that they had been arguing all day. That's what they said. They had been arguing all day. I think they were hating on Nolan anyway because he's supposed to be having his training and stuff on
Yeah.
Monday, and so he definitely didn't want to do any illegal substances with them
To stop that from occurring for him.
It was made by someone who was at the pool party. Bro, Nono didn't get into a fight at the island. It was our other friend. Nono and Wyatt did get into an altercation right after that, not even 10 minutes later, because Wyatt took his phone and Evan was trying to be hard. Nolan was definitely screaming, "Give me my Evan phone back, nigga. What the heck wrong with you?" So they all calmed down. So that's when we head to Evan's house because he was throwing a pool party. So yes, Nono came to the party and yes, we was drinking. But Wyatt and Evan and Morgan and Andrew was really high. And I think they was trying to get Lucy and Natalia to try some as well. But yes, they got into it again at the pool party. It didn't end until almost 1 a.m. I know, Evan's mom kicked us all out. Once they started fighting, it was Andrew and Evan and Wyatt. And Warren was basically recording and laughing, saying, "Get him, get him." And all I could hear was Nono screaming, "Mom." So yes, I tried helping. Then his mom come out screaming, yelling, "Drunk, make us leave," and was saying she was going to call the cops on us if we didn't leave her house. But they didn't let Nono leave. And Nono was by the basketball goal that was inside the pool. He was leaning over beside it, gasping for air and spitting up blood.
And so Warren was saying, "Get him, get him." And see, that's the thing. Warren was supposed to be his friend. Well, they all were supposed to be his friends, but Warren sitting there talking about he loved him and all that. And let me tell you something. Now I have to wonder, Javon wasn't there, but now I'm wondering, did Javon think something was going to happen? Because you all may remember I told you all, I'm talking to my subscribers, you all may remember I told you all the other day that one of his friends told him, "Be careful, bro, and I'm gonna hit you up later." And then someone asked me if that was Javon. I thought it wasn't. I could have sworn it was another friend that he was on a picture with. But then yesterday somebody said it was Javon. So I don't remember. But some friend did tell him that because I said, I wonder if they had any type of intuition or something, intuitive thought, or maybe they knew something. Like, why would they say, "Be careful, bro. You know, I'm going to hit you up later. Be careful," you know, or whatever. That was interesting to me. Like maybe they had some intuitive thoughts, or maybe they just felt something, or maybe they knew something. This is all just really sad. It is really sad that this young man is gone. He had so much going on for him. And then I want you all to pay attention to hear that guy on that video. When I do my TikTok about this, I'm playing that part of his video with him saying that. Because here's the thing, they want to sit there, okay, and try to go in on Black people who don't trust them, okay, when you have a reason not to. Okay, some of them absolutely will let you know how they get down, that they don't like people who look like you, and they'll take you up out of here. And also, you all remember yesterday when I told you all, I said you have to study the enemy because trust and believe the enemy studies us. And I said I saw a video or I read somewhere where a guy said the same thing he said. He said, "We know y'all can't swim." Matter of fact, it was in the TikTok live. I was in a TikTok live a couple of nights ago, and that's what it said. Somebody in the chat said, "Yeah, we know y'all can't swim," because most Black people sadly cannot. Okay, most Black people sadly cannot swim. And they know that. And this is why they always trying to take us off to water. Okay. And Royal, did you see that video that recently came out with a young guy that was like 14 or 15 taken out there with the white family? You saw it. Did you see that, Obasi? Greta says, yes, they study us. They sure do. And Lindell, thank you for your contribution, beloved. I don't know if I remember to thank you or not. Obasi, you still there?
Which one was that?
The one with it was a black kid. He looked like he was about 14 or 15. He was out of the lake. It looked like these white people had taken him out there as like a family, and they had him in the water with this little life vest on that was too small, and they were taunting him and making monkey noises and just saying, "Oh, come on, you can do it." And he was like, "I can't swim," and all this stuff. And then another white family pulled up and they helped him.
Oh, I didn't see this one.
Yeah, I reported on that about a week or so ago. And you all know there's another, you all heard about the young man by the name of Dion Walton, 17 years old. This happened on July the 4th. Okay, he went on a trip with his football team. The football team, he went to Strong High School in Alabama, and the football team, he's the only black person on there. Let me see if I still have those pictures. I think I deleted them this morning. But anyway, yeah, I had shown the pictures of the whole basketball team, the football team, the baseball team, the cheerleaders. Everybody's all white. He's the only black person. And all of a sudden, they go on a trip to a lake in somebody's house or whatever. And the coaches are there also. He's got about 5 or 6 coaches. They're all white too. And then he drowns in the lake. And they tell his family that the boys were on top of some type of I don't know if it was a diving board or whatever it was. They were up on top of something high, and they had bet each other if they could jump off and swim to this small island or something. And they said he drowned. And of course, that all sounds crazy to me. And then there was another one. I think his name is Daniel Irving. I haven't reported on him yet, but I have all the information. I'll probably talk about that tomorrow. But yeah, he also turned up deceased. Okay, out with his white friends. So like, what are they talking about when this guy's talking about, we're being racist for saying that? No, stop being racist, and we won't have to talk about racism ever. Okay? And then you have some of these people who say, "Oh, you all keep talking experiencing racism," and I'm talking about the raccoons. You all keep experiencing racism because you keep talking about race. First of all, if we never said a thing about race, it's not going to stop racism. Like, get out of here with that. It's all crazy.
I think they speaking to their own heart. They only hearing about racism because we talking about it. They might assume, or they might even brush past it in their own life. So that what they call it is going along to get along. So when others decide that they are no longer going to go along to get along, it does make or create a level of discomfort for those who do want to be complacent or assimilate, because they know that when white people have an issue with one of us, they willing to get any of us to suffice for how it is that they feeling about one of us.
And that is so true. Now, me, I would want to get the right person. They don't care. Anyone will do. And that's just like I was telling them about that. The reason we don't have any more lynchings in this country. I mean, we have plenty of them, but they don't call it that, right? They call them self-deletions, suicides with an S. And the reason is because, and I just figured this out. Back in 1981, this lady's son was lynched and hung. They beat him with a branch, slit his throat 2 or 3 times, and then tied him to a tree, hung him from a tree. Michael Donald and his mother down there in Alabama, Beulah May Donald, she sued the Klan. Okay, the police tried to lie and tell her at first that it was simply a gang-related or something about illegal substances. She said no, she knew it wasn't that. Long story short, she sued them, got $7 million, and she won possession of the building where they had their Klan meetings at. That bankrupted the Klan. Literally bankrupted them. Now, you already know they can't be having that going on. So that's the last time they called them lynchings. Ever since then, they call them suicides. Okay, with an S. Sure do. Let me see what this super chat says. Scoop says our community should start free swimming classes all over. Take their power away. Exactly. And how about also let's not keep going anywhere with a group of them by yourselves as well, beloved. And thank you. That's good. That's a good idea. Okay, so thank you for that. Your insight into the topic and your contribution. I appreciate you. Peace, love, and blessings. And does anyone know if they have places where they give free lessons? What about the YWCA or the YMCA? Do they still do those things there?
I'm not sure, but it is a good place to start.
Yeah.
To look.
That's what parents need to do.
Especially summertime, summer camps, all kind of stuff. Going on in the summer would be the best time for for them to, because I know they have inside pools like during the winter time, but summertime, kids got summer camp and different things going on. So it is good to check into that. I know my kids, when they were younger, I made sure they knew how to swim. I had a pool in the backyard. They would be in the pool till wee hours, but they knew how to swim. But it is important for us to teach our children how to swim.
Yeah, both of my sons can swim like sharks.
Yeah.
They're grown now, but they can swim like sharks.
Yeah,
Okay.
mine too. Yeah. Yeah.
I also have some experience with being out at a body of water with just them. And it was crazy. I keep flashing back and things of that nature because I actually mentioned it in my book. But long story short, we drove out to the river. Once we got there, everybody get to drinking and doing what they doing. And sooner rather than later, there was a quote unquote rumble that jumped out. I don't play fight. I don't play fight at all, because if you hit me too hard, you hit me in the wrong place, it's gonna get serious, and it's gonna get serious fast. So I withdrew, but even as I withdrew, they all turned to me and they start talking about the times where I called them out about racism. And I'm not kidding around with you at all. If I'm telling a lie, he can snatch me out my t-shirt. I'm not kidding with you at all. Oh yeah, you remember when you was all that racist stuff, all that racism stuff, and woo. And I'm just like, look, bro, you know what I mean? This ain't the time nor the place. If you want to have a conversation, we can have a conversation. But y'all not about to jump me. You know what I mean? I'm not about to put myself in this type of predicament, even if it is just one of y'all approaching while the rest of y'all are standing back, nudging each other. Hey, look. However it goes, I'm not about to give you the opportunity to do something to me. So I ended up leaving, and I actually walked all the way back from the river to my house. It took me about 5 hours, and I'm not even kidding around with you. It took me about 5 hours. And it was at that time that I realized that my tokenism, or wanting to be or being willing to be the token, was actually putting my life in danger. And I haven't been anywhere with them. I don't go to the grocery store with these folks by myself.
Wow.
And I'm being serious with you about it.
Yeah, because one thing is for sure, two things is for certain, is that when everything is cool, you notice with your situation, what you just explained, and it's only you, but it's 5 or 6 of them. Even you have a one-on-one with one of them, they will all jump in to try to take up for them, and you're left out there, and it's just you with 5 or 6 of them.
Exactly.
Yeah, that is also true.
And another thing that they do is they use the stereotypes. They use what people would believe automatically. For example, he wanted to stay with a girl. They've been accusing young black men of being hypersexualized for decades. So of course, as soon as they said that, everybody's like, "Oh shoot, there he goes." You know what I'm saying? Just another instance of him being a little bit too out of control and things of that nature. So I'm under the impression that if I would have got with one of them boys, the rest of them boys would have jumped in, and then they would have accused me of becoming aggressive, because that is the stereotype that people would run with. So I'm just so glad. I'm so glad that and I'm getting a little emotional, because I understand what it's like to be in that situation, and the level of fear that young man felt in that particular time. If this is if this is true in terms of what happened at the pool party, but yeah, they'll throw a stereotype out there because they know the rest of them will believe it, even if they know you to be something completely other than the stereotype. They'll still use it as a way to deflect from their own behavior.
Staying on code. That's what they'll do in a minute. And you just made me think about what you said, you know, how if you were getting the best of one, they all would have chimed in, of course, because that's what probably happened to Peter Bernardo Spencer, okay, the 29-year-old Jamaican immigrant from December of 2021. He went out on a hunting trip with about 9 white tea people and ended up deceased. And they shot him like 9 times and then said that they had to because he was acting erratic after taking some mushrooms or something. And so they shot him like 9 times. Like, and nobody got prosecuted for that. So that's how that story goes. See, that's another reason not to put yourself in their vicinity with a group of them and one of you, because even if something nefarious happens, the only people there to tell, dead men tell no tale. So they're gonna say whatever they want to say, and that's what's gonna go. Even if the police know that it doesn't add up to the evidence. You know what I'm saying? This is all so crazy. I'm just glad everything's coming out because that's right. Robert says that Ice-T movie. Let me tell you something, Robert. Um as soon as this story came out, that's what I'm talking about. You all need to see, if you haven't, that movie Surviving the Game. Have y'all seen that with Ice-T back in the 90s?
No, I'm gonna write that down. No, I
I
haven't
was
seen
telling
that.
It's
Surviving
called
the game.
Surviving the Game. If you haven't seen it, you should watch it because the first thing I thought about was that movie.
I
If you
remember
all
that.
remember a few years ago when remember Rasheem Carter went down there to Laurel, Mississippi? And then he went missing. He called his mom and said the white men in a truck were following him, harassing him, calling him the N-word. And they were people that worked with him. And he didn't live there. He was just there for work. And the white guy that he was staying at the hotel with, who was taking him to work every day, they were riding together, had told him that day that he couldn't give him a ride all of a sudden. Then he goes to the police station after they're threatening him and everything. He goes to the police station. He has to walk. The police tell him that he asked if they can give him a ride back, you know, to the hotel because he tells them what's going on. They said they're not a taxi service. And then they said that's out of their jurisdiction. So he asked if he could stay at the police station and wait until a ride came because his mom said, he called his mom, she was going to send a friend, and that was going to take like 2 or 3 hours. And so, because they were like that far away. And so they told him no, he couldn't stay there. So he just left the police station. And then next thing we know, his body's found 30 days later, decapitated, spine ripped out, and his private in his mouth. Okay, just real gruesome. Just real gruesome. Okay, so now someone sent me this video that they asked me to play. I hope it's no music in this video, beloved. I'm gonna go ahead and play this. This is all crazy.
Y'all, this Nolan Wells situation is getting stranger by the day, and now text messages are being released. You see, Nolan Wells' friend Christian Bass shared a carousel post on Instagram with 15 images and videos. But what has everyone talking is the final slide where Nolan's friend shares their final text conversation. And just when you think things couldn't get more strange, it just did. You see, in the messages, Nolan appears to have sent his friend Christian his location. However, when Christian replied back and asked him what was the location he sent him, Nolan allegedly texted back, "Over." Now, if you're wondering,
forgot I was muted. I have that same text message. I forgot I had it. I had it since last night. But I was trying to figure out, was that Nolan really texting, or was that one of the friends who took him out?
why I'm using the word allegedly, although the message is coming from Nolan's phone, it's because Nolan's family recently revealed text messages were deleted from his phone before his so-called friends returned it. And get this. According to Nolan's parents, the friends didn't willingly return the phone. His parents actually tracked his phone and had them return it. Now, social media is trying to decipher what exactly the over message meant. And if the message was sent at the time Nolan was missing, it makes sense why the friends have lawyered up. Okay, y'all, this Nolan.
This is all getting so intriguing. This is like a bad movie that I don't want to be in. That's what this is all giving.
Yeah, it don't sound like that was Nolan saying over. Why would Nolan say over? I feel like that's when they really unalived him and was about to take him to, you know, put him in that place forever. But they had to, I wonder if they put him in there allegedly, like right away after they, you know, allegedly, you know, beat him, or did
No, they
they
said they
wait?
did it the next morning. No.
Oh yeah,
They
that's
said
right.
they did it the next morning.
Yeah, that's
So they
right.
took
That's
him the
right.
next morning. They stored him in the boat until the next morning.
That's right.
I
Because
mean,
then they cleaned board after that. Oh, yeah.
this looks, I mean, they're going to make a movie about this, okay? They're going to make a movie. It's going to be on Netflix, so we already know. Because it sounds like a movie. Like, this almost sounds unbelievable, except for the usual suspects are involved. Okay, so it's not too shocking. It would be shocking if we did something like this to one of them, don't you think?
Oh,
It would be
absolutely.
shocking then. Unbelievable that these black people got together, killed a white kid at a pool party, hid his body in a
Mhm.
boat, and then planted him on an island the
Mhm.
next day. Yeah, that would be absolutely crazy. That definitely doesn't sound like something we would do. Okay.
Mhm.
I'm gonna go ahead and let everybody give their final thoughts. We're coming back at 6:30, me in the lounge, because we're going to be speaking with, if you all saw that viral video of the teenage black boy who was walking down the street with a hoodie on, and the cop was just harassing him and then put him in the car with handcuffs because he said it was too warm for the hoodie. Did you all see that, Obasi and Royal?
No, I
Um,
didn't see that one.
I have not seen that one yet.
You didn't? Okay. Or showed that the other day, and the guy didn't even look like a cop, you all. Because I told my people, I said I probably would have gotten arrested because I probably would have thrown a bow at him because I didn't even know he was a cop until I
Mhm.
saw the young man sitting in the second clip, the young man sitting in the back of the car. Okay, his
Yep.
father's coming on here to talk about it because he's bringing awareness to it, because that level of harassment, because you're mad because he has on a hoodie and it's
Mhm.
warm outside. First of all, you didn't have any probable cause to even be talking to him in the first place.
Mhm.
Okay, so it's all crazy. So we're gonna be talking about that at 6:30. So Obasi, I want you to go ahead and share your thoughts. No, I'm gonna start at the top with the lounge. Okay, then we'll go to Royal, and then we'll go to Obasi, then I'll be last.
Okay. So I learned a lot in this live, of course, a lot of information that I did not know about. But hopefully, I pray that Ben Crump really steps in for them and gets this family justice, because there's a lot of twists and turns. There's a lot of, untold uh, things that are coming out now. So, and to me, getting a lawyer up like immediately, to me, shows like massive signs of guilt, and all the things that I know, we know thus far is seeing, all kind of signs of, they are guilty for doing what they did to him. But I just pray that the family gets justice. So
Absolutely. And go ahead also while you're at it, beloved, and tell them your social medias where they can find you. I know they probably follow your channel already, so but you can go ahead and tell them again.
So you guys can find me. I'm on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and here on YouTube is The Lounge, at THE Lounge, LOUNGE 8385 on all of my socials.
Okay, Royal.
Um, I'm with the sister. I'm with the lounge on. I want the family to receive justice. I don't care what it is that took place, as much as I care about this family receiving justice, and Nolan receiving justice above all else. I have my beliefs and things of that nature, but I'm willing to, I'm willing to hear the truth. And I'm willing
Mhm.
to see the family receive justice, even if that does go against what it is that I believe. But in essence, I think that this is a great time for us to develop a sense of us, to find ways for us to get back to one another rather than trying to run up the river or run up the road, and things of that nature, to be closer to these people. I'm just not under the impression that that's benefited us to this point, and I don't think that it will benefit us going forward. We need to learn to love ourselves again, and we need to learn to be able to get along with each other, and not just in places of neutrality. We got to be able to walk up and down the street and see ourselves in the brothers and sisters that we see up and down the street.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And in
Absolutely.
terms of my socials, right now I'm on TikTok the most, so you can find me at Royal Oak Media ENT, and I'm building some things there, and things will grow from there. But that's where you can find me for now.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks for that, beloved. Obasi.
Um, like I said earlier, teach your children the other side of the chessboard. Like the brother said, we got to learn how to get along collectively. Stop painting this doom and gloom picture of your people. Stop painting the picture that they are in the most trouble being around their own. I don't care if I'm in the worst hood of the hood. Get what? I'm safe whether I'm around in the trailer park because I can appeal to them. But you doing these kids a disservice and they're getting blindsided, and they're in these situations, it's too late. So do better of the pictures that we paint of each other to our children because they're listening. My social media is you can get me on my YouTube, Cerebral Assassin 221, and I just appreciate the opportunity.
Absolutely. Always appreciate it, beloved. Okay, so Palomino Ricky's says it's unbelievable because it's illogical and stupid. You can drown in seconds. It happened to someone I know. They drowned in a few seconds. No one knew. They just disappeared. Happens a lot at parties. Okay, Palomino Ricky, let me tell you something. Okay, that's your experience, and that doesn't mean that's the case for everybody. And second of all, the thing is nobody's talking about him drowning because we don't even know if he drowned because the autopsy report has not been released. Now, unless you have blinders on and just choose to believe whatever you want to, which is what it sounds like, and you didn't hear any of the information that was just dispersed, what are you even talking about? Okay, at this point, we're not talking about him drowning. They said he was beaten to death and his body was placed on the island. Okay, now if you're a MAGA minion, I don't know why you're in here. Okay?
Do you mind if I say something to this individual?
Please go ahead. Please do, Royal.
What I'll say is this. It may take seconds for somebody to drown, but somebody would have saw what happened to our dear brother. We are not going to play with you or anybody else. With as many people that were there, nobody is going to be naive enough to believe that he drowned and nobody saw anything.
Right.
Everybody's trying to pass the buck along to the next person. Oh no, they saw him last. They saw him last. I saw him with them and there and this, that, and the third. So, you know, if as the dear sister said, if you want to walk around with blinders on, or if you want to pretend as if we have no reason to see these things through the scope that we looking through now, then you not only in the wrong conversation, but you in the wrong lifetime. Because we're not about to put on the blinders for you. And as I said on the live the other night, we are standing together, hands interlocked, and we are no longer singing, "We will not be moved." We are telling the mountains to get out of the way. Don't be standing on the mountain.
Absolutely.
That's right, honey. I was very well spoken. Okay, now he says if he was beaten, someone would have saw. If he drowned, it happens in 2 seconds and not even now. I know you're just trolling at this point because nobody drowns in 2 seconds. And second of all, that people did see it. That's why they had those texts and stuff. Let me just go ahead and block you because I don't have time for foolishness. See, what I don't allow foolish people like yourself to do, racist trolls like yourself to do, is come in here and try to distract us. Okay, so try to come here and distract us and paint your own narrative because we're going to do the narrative pointing right here. Okay, we already know what the narrative is. We knew it all along, and now it's just coming to light, just like the whole situation with Carmelo Anthony. Okay, it's all coming to light. See, y'all can't win. Y'all gonna realize. Okay, y'all done effed around and found out that you can't win. You see, you can do your dirt, but it's no longer going to be hidden. It's going to be exposed. This is the age of Aquarius, where all things are being revealed. And those of us who have spiritual awakening, who are looking with our third eye, which I call the first eye, we see you. We know you. Okay, you can't fool us. We don't have blinders on. You can sit there and pretend to be stuck on stupid if you want to. You can act obtuse. But the bottom line is, you know exactly what happened. You know they did it. Okay, please. You may not know exactly how they did it, but you know they did it. You knew it all along. Now, with that all being said, I want to thank you all for tuning in and listen to the panel guest. I want you all to stay on for just a couple of seconds after I close out the broadcast, all right? Because I just have something I want to say to everybody real quick. And to all of my loyal royals, I want to thank you all for tuning in once again. Okay, remember, beloveds, each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always remember to keep the Most High first in your lives. Until next time, beloveds, I will talk to you all again soon. Peace.
hit 'em with that flavor. Gold all in my skin, God all in my blood. Kings all in my circle, you touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen, why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunta. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations, America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. See a bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all at Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threats. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood. Kings all in my circle, you touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood. Kings all in my circle, you touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got